Hi everyone, this is a short video explaining standardised testing and how it is used and how it is carried out in our school. There will be an information page handed out to parents later on today, but I thought I would also just record a short video to help explain it a little bit further. So as you may be aware already, if you've had your child in our school for a number of years now, standardised testing takes place in our school in term 3. So that means after the Easter break. So we're just finishing term 2, and after the Easter break we will start standardised testing from first class all the way to 6th class. There are 2 classes that don't do standardised testing, that's junior infants and senior infants, but every other class will do that, and it's a requirement. It's not a choice. All schools have to do standardised testing, and that is directed by the Department of Education. So we do standardised testing in 2 areas. We do it in English reading and maths, and the standardised tests we use are the Drumcondra English and the Drumcondra maths tests, but there are other types of standardised tests out there. So some parents were wondering, what is a standardised test? So children are completing tests on a daily basis here in school. You might not know about it, but they're doing spelling tests, they're doing maths tests, they're doing reading tests. And a standardised test is another type of test, and it is used to measure your child's achievement in English reading and maths compared to other children nationally of the same age in the same class level. So we're not just comparing your child with the children in their class and their class level in Scoil, we're actually comparing them to every child of their age at that class level across all of Ireland. So in English, the English reading test gives information about how well your child can understand what he or she has read. The test does not gather information on your child's written or spoken English. So really what we're talking about is your child being given a piece of a story or a piece of prose, and they will have to read through it by themselves and answer a series of questions about it. So the test will, gather information on your child's ability to read, understand what they have read, and their ability then to find important information within a story. It will not gather information on your child's speaking or your child's written English. The maths then finds out how well your child can use numbers for different purposes and solve maths problems. So in the younger classes, the maths question will be read to your son or daughter. They will then have to, do the maths and find the answer and write it. In the older classes, the children will read the questions by themselves and move through the maths test independently. So some parents were asking, are standardised tests intelligence tests? And the answer is no, they are not intelligence tests. The test allows teachers to compare the performance of an individual pupil in their class with that of other pupils nationally at the same class level and at the same age. The main purpose of the standardised tests is to help teachers plan your child's learning and to inform you about how well your child is doing in the areas of English reading and maths. So at home then you're probably wondering, how can I support my child and how can I prepare them for these standardised tests that are about to happen in the end of May, or sorry, should I say the end of April, the start of May. The reality is there's no revision that you can do that will help your child prepare for this standardised tests. They're based on the curriculum that they have already completed, and that's the same curriculum nationally. So the only things you can do is help your child get used to a testing scenario. So how to carry out an exam well, the idea of reading a question carefully, giving it your best guess if you don't know, and moving on if you get stuck. These are things that often cause a child to get upset in the middle of the test and bring down scores that parents, pupils and teachers felt should be higher. Children get stuck on question 10, they panic and they spend too much time on that question and therefore they don't get to the end. Whereas if you help your child and speak to your child and practice with your child the idea of, you know, trying the question, giving it your best guess and circling it to come back at the end, at least then they will be able to give every question a go and they can come back at the end if they have more time. The other question is, how will I know how my child got on in the standardised tests? Well, in our school, we will give you the result in your end of year school report, and they are handed out at the start of June. And that's generally how we communicate them. There will be a box for English and there will be a box for maths. So interpreting the scores then, what you will see is a STEN score. And the STEN scores range from 1 all the way to 10. So in the box you might see English and you might see 5. And here on this table that I will share with parents on the school blog and in a letter, explains what that means nationally. So if your child is scoring, for example, a 5 or a 6, that means they are average and they are scoring a performance on the test that is average when compared to children nationally. About 1/3 of all pupils who take the test will score between a 5 and a 6. If they score lower, like a 4, they are low average. And then anything between 1 and 3 is well below average. Similarly, so moving upwards, if they score a 7, they are a high average, and if they score an 8 to a 10, they are well above average. And in general, in those 4 areas, the children that score that are about 1/6 of the population. What I will say to you in summary is the standardised tests is just one test that your child will take in their whole year. And like any day, we can have good days and we can have bad days. So it might not accurately reflect your child's true ability. So please use the school report and talk to the teacher, because the teacher will use the standardised tests along with all the other tests and assessments they have carried out to give you a truer and better reflection of your child's ability in English reading and maths. It's only one isolated score, and in isolation it's not very accurate. It's with all the other tests and all the information that teachers gather that gives you a truer and more accurate reflection on where your child is at and how we can look forward into the coming academic year and make plans for them to progress further and challenge themselves. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, you can ring the school. I'm here to help. Or you can talk to your class teacher, you can send an email to the school, and I hope you have a nice break, and please don't be worried.